Lemont unlocked on one of the best patios in town in the middle of the summer, a place that got mentioned, I think, by every single person I interviewed on the Cruise Nights episode recently. I'm sitting here with Matt Bonner, and he is the owner of Matt's Barbecue. Original name, just went with your name.
Yeah, keep it simple. I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, so I remember what I own now.
Yeah, you're like, it's easy to identify it's mine if my name's on it.
Exactly.
You had humble beginnings to this. This was, I want to say, I remember a little bit about your story. You were doing barbecue out of your garage for your neighbors. Was it during COVID? Is that when did that happen?
Started right during COVID. So we were, I'd been barbecuing kind of my whole life, messing around with it, and COVID happened, and I took a trip to Austin, and me and my family all went, and all of a sudden it was one of those things. Flying home, I'm like, I do it enough. Why not buy something bigger and kind of, expand the horizon, or whatever you say there. And I gave it a shot and bought a 250-gallon smoker. My wife loved it because it took up half the garage, and I started smoking out of my garage.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
And was the reason for purchasing this place for building up something that it really is beautiful? I mean, your patio area, you give everybody shade. You got a little putting course for the kids in the background. On a day like today, it's actually pretty warm.
Yeah.
And I watched the crowd show up at about noon. It was like watching the beginning of a bar rescue episode because there was nobody here.
Yeah.
And then at noon, you were slammed.
Right.
Like everybody just starts walking in, and people preferred the patio. It seemed like
for sure
over the inside, even though the inside's beautiful. They love this space.
The inside's fun. The inside's small, so it is hard to pack that many people in. So we were able to go ahead and take advantage of this patio and build something out here and try to make it that backyard feel. That's what we're going for. We put the putting green out. I've got a mess of kids at home. I've got 5 kids, so I know that that kids, parents sitting down like to have their kids be able to do something so they can sit down and enjoy
if you can occupy the kids,
just
then
busy.
You get to enjoy yourself a little bit, right?
Battle,
you get to enjoy yourself.
Sipping a beer and then yelling at your kids at the same time, it's not a good look, so,
Well, I want to get into how it went from the garage to this place. Okay. But before I do that, tell me a little bit about the food here. Like, if I was going to try something first, what would you say jump in and get?
I would take some of that point on the brisket. So that's your
this stuff here?
Larger slice of brisket. That's the flat.
Okay.
And then
this is the point here.
So the point is the piece underneath it with the fatty end.
This part down here.
Got you some silverware.
That's okay.
That would have been a good idea.
This place, right? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I can eat with my hands. It does break apart really easy because it's cooked really well. Wow.
Well, thank you. So that's our pride and joy. There is our brisket, our point end of the brisket. Real simple: salt, pepper. We put a mustard binder on it. We smoke it for between 8 and 10 hours unwrapped. And then what we actually do is take some of our beef tallow, some of the trimmings from the briskets that we're putting on. We take the trimmings, we render that fat down inside the smoker, so we have a smoked beef tallow, and then we incorporate that into our wrap when we wrap our briskets. So after about 8 or 9 hours, we'll wrap our briskets, let them go in the tallow, in aluminum foil for another 2 hours until they're temped, and then they take a nap at night. So
okay.
Then we sit overnight for about 10 hours and rest in our warmers for the next day. And that's a lot of people talk about that or don't do that portion of it, and they an hour after they're done cooking out of their house, they open it up and they go, what happened to it? That thing resting matters. It matters a ton.
So the cook takes a long time. Like what I watched today, and again, I'm amazed by it, mustard being put around it and pepper. Yeah. And then you cook it just like that. Think about people do a million different things with their meats
and crazy rubs.
Yeah, and you're like, no, cook the meat, just smoke the meat.
Let the meat stand out for itself. Brisket's delicious. As long as it's cooked slow and done right, you break it down well enough, it's good by itself. Salt and pepper's plenty. You have a little sauce if you want something to dip in. That's kind of the way we do it here.
And when you put this out, like you mentioned, there's different parts of it. So is everybody when they're getting a serving, are they getting these different parts?
So we try to incorporate both the flat and so like our typical order is a half-pound order, right? So
Okay.
you'll get one slice of the fatty end, the point end of the brisket, which is that thicker piece.
Yeah, this stuff
and then
is amazing.
Then you'll get a slice of the flat as well.
Look at that.
Just adding up to
It just-
about a half a pound.
Pulled right off.
Yeah.
Does that make you happy
That's
when
a
you see me do
good-looking
that?
bite. That's a
You know,
good
like when you
you
see
know,
me grab this
I'm
and
a
you're
fatty
like,
brisket
we're,
guy,
right,
so
we're
yeah,
right here on
that
camera. You're
looks-
like, yeah,
that
he
looks
just showed
pretty
off
good.
that the
I'll
meat
take
is
that.
cooked
I'll
right.
take that. I'll take that for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't eat so much on camera
Well,
because I want to ask questions.
enjoy it.
But it's really, really good. So you're in your garage.
Mm-hmm.
You're making this. The neighbors love it.
Right.
Somewhere along the line, you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to open up a place.
Sort of. Yeah,
Sort of.
Sort of.
So take me through that. How do you
All
get
right,
here?
Yeah, for sure. So, I decided to just go. I'm going to buy a bigger one. I like doing this. I'm going to buy a big old smoker and ask my family. Hey, graduation parties, whatever. If you guys are interested, I'll do it for cheap. Just I want to kind of start honing myself into cooking larger amounts of food. All with the intention of maybe doing a food truck or something. So I was a construction worker. I was a local 150 operating engineer for 19 years. Did that out of I lived in right by Midway Airport in Garfield Ridge. So we did that for, I'd say about a year that I was smoking and doing little things for family. And then I started incorporating, talking to like St. Daniel the Prophet, like some of the different churches and things like that, going, hey, would you mind
Doing events.
Yeah, I'll go to your football game and sell pulled pork sandwiches, stuff like that. Went to a local bar and sold some stuff and just kind of kept going, kept rolling. A few years later, we were talking about moving to Lemont. At that point, I had built up a decent little crowd that was ordering from me, so I had some orders left over as I moved. So as we're moving into the house, I'm also smoking on my driveway for these orders. As I was doing that, people are walking back and forth, walking their dogs.
Your new
What is
neighbors
he
in
doing,
Lemont
man?
are like,
what is this guy doing?
This guy moved in with a giant smoker and just
Right,
starts
he's out in the
cooking
middle.
meat.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. and I'm out there with a fire and a smoker.
Right, because
and
when
just
you're
messing
doing
around.
this, you're in the middle of the night. You're doing this. I
Yeah.
mean, like, this is not
Oh, yeah.
like you don't just throw it out in the morning when
No,
you're
it's-
smoking.
I mean,
it's
yeah.
like a whole thing. I mean, it sounds like the process for this brisket is like a 24-hour
Yeah, it's about
process.
a 24-hour process. Yeah. So that's what we do. I would get up at about 2 a.m. and fire up the smoker and get the briskets on. And at that point, I think I was letting them rest for about 5 hours, something like that. And that was my kind of drinking beer time after I was done cooking.
Right.
And then people would come to the garage and look like a drug dealer's house. You know what I mean? You'd have a line of cars outside picking up their food.
Back in the day when I was married, she thought that I had to do that whole thing with the rest. I had to be staring at it in the backyard. I had to watch it.
Yeah.
If I don't watch this, it's going to go wrong.
Something's going to go wrong. No, it's almost the opposite. The more you look at it, they always say if you're looking, you ain't cooking, that kind of thing.
Right.
So we did that for a while, and it just started. So it kind of took off once we hit Lemont, once that happened, because then I just, people started reaching out and asking to order, and all of a sudden I went, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'll do a cook every 2 weeks. Every other weekend I'll do a cook. So I did every other weekend I did a cook. I'd have I'd put on, let's say, 15 briskets or whatever that thing would hold pretty much, because I would sell out. So I'd put something up on Facebook. I'm cooking briskets this weekend. Who wants them? Me. And off I went. So then we did that for a few months, and I thought, let's get a food trailer. Let's try that out. Well, the food trailer lasted about 2 months, and then this opened up. So the food trailer was, I wouldn't say the best investment for me, but it's doing great with the car shows. Families love it. It gives another option for the line inside, because I know the line gets busy, and people can get frustrated at that. So that gives them another avenue to get some food.
Well, what's interesting about your story is, like, some people say, okay, I have an idea, I'm going to open up a shop. And it's kind of like this, I mean, it is still a leap of faith to open up a place, right?
For sure.
But you built like this thing to the point where you were first doing it for friends and family. Now some people are ordering it. Now you're going to fair. So it's almost like you sat there and as it got bigger, you had to get bigger and you had to grow with the business. What was it like dealing with the village when all of a sudden you go from being the guy that's just moved in, that's cooking in the driveway, to I need to open up a place and I want to open it up as quick as possible because we're growing right now, right?
So it was actually interesting. So what I learned through my garage experience was that some of the people that worked at Village Hall were some of the people ordering from me. So
that helps.
Yeah, so that helps. So I actually ended up getting an email saying, hey, some of us love your barbecue. Have you ever thought about that? And I was working construction. Life was fine. Everything was everything was great. And I said, well, let me go meet with this guy, Jason Berry, and me and Jason, met and had a talk and a couple beers, and
that's how this podcast came along. He just talked me into it. I was podcasting other places. Jason's like, let's go have a beer. Next thing you know, I'm doing a podcast for Lemont.
See, look at that.
Hey, that guy.
I tell you. Yeah, so it was interesting. So I said, yeah, sure. So I came home and I said something to my wife, but I said, well, I'm kind of considering it. She's like, what? What are you talking? What are you talking about? I said, she's like, you got like everything's fine. I go, yeah, but they always talk about that like leap of faith, like always wanting to do something like that. And it was just one of those things where I went, like, what was it? Wayne Gretzky said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right.
So I went, let's go for it. So my wife is a principal of a school. She has a great job. I was able to kind of, so when I left Local 150, you give up your health care, but we were able to go through that and jump on that. So I had limited risk in what I was trying to do. So
and you got to do something you enjoyed doing.
I got to do something.
Think about it. You got to really do something you enjoy doing.
For sure.
And now you got these guys. You got like a staff here that's walking around. They're doing some of the cooks for you. Because you need really 24-hour workers here for all the stuff that's going on.
The overhead here is crazy between firewood and cooking and everything else. It's like just like you said, 2 a.m. they're here. These guys are here cooking. They're here till midnight or so. So we're between like an 18 and 22 hour a day kind of thing, which is why we're closed Monday and Tuesday too. We just need something to kind of reset.
You need a break for sure. Where are you located, by the way?
308 Canal Street, downtown Lemont.
Tell me about your sauces, because you have 3 of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go into a barbecue place, they have too many of them, or they have like a huge array of them. It's like walking into Buffalo Wild Wings and there's 1,000 sauces.
How many flavors you want,
some want to put the sauce on before they even give it to you, which drives me nuts because sometimes I want to try the meat.
Right.
And I want to see what that tastes like on its own, like I just did here.
Right.
Tell me about your sauces. Why'd you choose these 3, and is there one that's more popular than others?
Okay, yeah. So the most popular is for sure the honey barbecue.
Okay.
Kind of just standard sweet barbecue sauce. I came up with those as I was, right after Austin, working on everything. It took a little while to get them dialed in. I was a Sweet Baby Ray's guy when I used to, just as far as
sauce is the boss,
right?
I got you.
It's not bad. It's a good
that's
sauce.
where I started too.
So I kind of mimicked it off of that. I looked at what they did and then just put my own spin on it. Change some stuff up if I wanted a little more peppery or I wanted this, and I messed around with it. And then as far as the hot, that's probably my favorite sauce. I'm not going to say what we put in it, but we add some stuff to it and make it like a nice slow heat. And I think that really complements, especially on the pulled pork with some pickles, like pulled pork sandwich. I think that does really well. And then as far as the blue one in the shot here, that's our Carolina vinegar. So it's actually like a sweet Carolina vinegar. So if you go to the Carolinas and get some of their sauce, a lot of people that know it's straight up vinegar. It's very vinegary.
Right.
It's a punch. It's acidic.
This is not exactly that.
So I wanted to sweeten it up a little bit because Chicago has that sweet sauce kind of place. So added some brown sugar to what would be a normal Carolina vinegar sauce, and sweeten it up. People love it on the pork. That's a big hit for that. That's the one I'm always pushing because I do really like it. You do see like people gravitate towards like the standard sauce. They see Carolina, I don't know about vinegar, and they kind of do this to it. But I
feel like I want to taste it now. It's the blue one.
Go for it.
All right, I'm going to give it a shot here. Is this one right here?
It'll be sweet.
Try one of these. These are flats.
Yeah, that's
right. Okay.
Part of the flat.
Because it ended up on the flat there.
Got a little vinegar base. It's a vinegar-based sauce. Little hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
But
it is sweet. You're right.
Yeah, it is sweet.
When I try that with the sauce there, you're right. I would see Carolina, and I would go for the more what Chicagoans like.
Right.
Or I might go with the hot sauce. But I think I just found my favorite sauce here.
Well, there's people that'll come in there and drink that stuff. I mean, like some people absolutely love it, and then other people are like, no, that's not me. So I wanted to have something that had like a little more of a real, like authentic barbecue. Like out of Texas too. Like most of these sauces in a lot of these places are a lot thinner than what we're used to in Chicago or Chicagoland. A lot of them are all vinegar based, and so we just try to mix it up a little bit and a little bit for everybody.
So the other items that you have on here, if I tried them all on this show, we'd go on forever. But I like you have the pulled pork sandwich. Yeah. Pulled pork seems to me like a staple. Like people will go to this as much as they would go to brisket. I would think, right?
Yeah.
So is there when you're cooking the pulled pork? What's the secret to that? That's pork shoulder, right?
Pork shoulder, yeah. So that's a bone-in pork shoulder. They're usually about between 6 and 10 pounds once they're done.
You put a lot of meat on this sandwich.
Yeah, we do. Our sandwiches are half-pound sandwiches here.
Wow.
They fill you up if you're going to have one for sure. But the pulled pork, we have a homemade rub that I came up with. Very similar as far as our cook. They cook a little faster though because they're fattier, so they'll break down a little easier. But Yeah, same thing. Rub, mustard, a different rub, not the salt and pepper rub for the brisket, and then same thing. Cook it for about 6 or 7 hours. Till we kind of cook those to color. We get a decent color on them. Once we feel like they look right, is when we'll actually wrap them. And then when we wrap them, we incorporate actually just our watered down honey barbecue sauce, just as something to help it kind of steam and soften up a little bit. And then same thing into the warmer overnight.
Your location right here, okay, on Canal.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that happen in this location. I mean, did you just totally luck out by having this corner spot? Like, we were at cruise nights and they have like all the tables here.
Yeah,
Like you become like almost like a center point. And listening to your story, you didn't have like a grand master plan.
Oh, no, not at all.
And you just ended up with this spot. I mean, it is beautiful, but what is it like when you have those things like the cruise nights or the sunset soirees and the things down here? They have to be a big help.
They mean everything.
Yeah.
In all honesty, you know, the car shows, the cruise nights, just this patio. I mean, just like we talked about earlier, the inside space isn't that big. So with the amount of money that we spend to get with our cooks and everything, even if we had that place inside filled up completely all the time, it's still hard to pay the bills.
Right.
So this is crucial. I would have never even attempted it inside without it, just because I just know how, you know, the costs of it. It just wouldn't have been successful. So when I heard about this is when I actually went, okay, I'm doing it. You know,
Yeah.
I think I signed the lease the next day. Like once they said this part was gonna, you know, that was gonna be something involved in it, I was like, okay, this is worth it now.
Then you're in.
This is worth the crack. Let's give it a shot. Worst case scenario, I go back, I pave some roads. You know, like it was just one of those things. I give it a shot and see what happens.
Right, but the good scenario, the best scenario is the fact you have this location, and then like I said, I mean, look at the Cruise Nights episode, if you get an opportunity to, and count the amount of times that people mentioned Matt's barbecue.
Thank you, everyone.
You would have thought that that we had paid them to say it about Matt's, because I had you coming up in a future episode, and it was just like they just kept bringing it up. It was incredible, and if you haven't seen that, or you want to check out the previous episodes, or you don't want to miss a future episode of Lemont Unlocked, subscribe. Any podcast player, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, it's got its own YouTube channel. You go to LemontDowntown.com to see all the events, to learn a little bit about Matt's. I know they got a little blurb about you on there, so you can keep up to date on everything happening. And you can go to LemontDowntown.com/unlocked, and you can find the podcast there as well. But check out that website, and you are like a staple in the downtown area for Lemont. And it's so fun to listen to the story of the guy who just started cooking for his friends, and it just grew to the point where he had to have this place. And man,
give it a crack. No business experience whatsoever. I'll figure it out as I go.
Yeah, life's a roller coaster sometimes, right?
Oh yeah.
And your roller coaster ended with some amazing food that I can't wait to chow out on.
It's been a wild 3 years, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Well, Matt, cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you for showing us your place.
No problem. Thank you very much, and also thank you to Lemont. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal, so I appreciate it.